It was a chilly autumn morning in the small town of Willow Creek. Leaves painted the streets in shades of gold and crimson, rustling softly under the feet of hurried passers-by. Clara Evans, a young woman in her early 20s, walked briskly down the sidewalk, carrying a basket of groceries. Her mind was elsewhere, thinking about her small cafe job and her late-night study schedule. As she turned the corner, she noticed a commotion in the alley beside the local grocery store. An elderly woman, bent and frail, struggled as a group of men pressed her against the wall, trying to take her bag. Clara's heart raced. Without a second thought, she dropped her groceries and ran toward them. "Hey, leave her alone!" she shouted, her voice trembling but firm. The men looked at her, startled by her sudden courage. One of them sneered, "Mind your own business, girl." Clara didn't flinch. She grabbed the nearest man's arm and yanked him backward, using all her strength. "I said leave her alone." The woman, gasping for breath, managed a weak smile. "Thank you, dear. Thank you so much." Seeing the determination in Clara's eyes, the men finally backed off, muttering under their breath before disappearing into the street. Clara helped the woman steady herself, guiding her to a nearby bench. "I'm Clara," she said, kneeling beside the woman. "Are you okay?" The woman nodded shakily. "Yes, thanks to you. I'm Margaret Bennett. I don't know what I would have done without you." Clara smiled softly, brushing the old woman's hand. "I couldn't just stand by. No one deserves to be treated like that." Margaret's eyes glistened. "You're a rare soul, Clara. Rare indeed." As they talked, a sleek black car rolled quietly up the street, and a tall, elegant woman stepped out. Her presence commanded attention without effort. Margaret's daughter, Victoria Bennett, was a formidable CEO, known for running one of the most successful tech companies in the country. Her sharp eyes scanned the scene before landing on Clara. "Mother," Victoria said smoothly, voice laced with authority, "I see you've made a new friend." Margaret smiled warmly. "This young woman saved me from a very unpleasant situation. Clara, this is my daughter, Victoria." Clara stood, slightly intimidated by Victoria's aura. "It's a pleasure, ma'am." Victoria studied her for a moment, then her expression softened. "The pleasure is mine, though I must say, you have a very brave heart." Margaret squeezed Clara's hand. "Victoria has been telling me that I should ensure I take care of the people I care about. And Clara, you've proven yourself kind and courageous. I believe in rewarding such qualities." Clara blinked, unsure what to say. I didn't do it for reward. I just wanted to help." Victoria smiled knowingly. "And yet, sometimes, helping others leads to unexpected opportunities. You see, Clara, I have a son. He's been looking for someone with your integrity, your spirit, and your courage." Clara froze, her heart skipping a beat. "Your son?" "Yes," Victoria said, her voice soft but firm. "I believe you and Jonathan, my son, could be perfect for each other. It may sound sudden, but sometimes fate works in mysterious ways." Clara's mind raced. A CEO family, a matchmaking scheme. She had never imagined that helping a neighbor would lead to this. Yet, despite her confusion, a strange sense of curiosity and excitement stirred within her. I don't even know him," Clara said hesitantly. Victoria smiled. "That's precisely why you should meet him. Sometimes, the heart recognizes what the mind cannot. Come by our estate tonight. Jonathan will be expecting you." Clara nodded slowly, her mind spinning with questions. She had saved a life today, and somehow, that act of kindness had thrown her into a world of wealth, power, and a potential love she had never imagined. As Clara walked home, she couldn't help but feel a mixture of apprehension and anticipation. She had no idea what awaited her at the Bennett estate, but she knew one thing for certain: her life was about to change forever. The evening air carried a subtle chill as Clara approached the grand Bennett estate. The sprawling mansion gleamed under the soft glow of lanterns, its gardens meticulously trimmed, fountains glimmering like liquid silver. Clara's heart pounded with a mixture of nervousness and excitement. She adjusted her simple dress, feeling suddenly aware of how ordinary she looked compared to the elegance surrounding her. A valet stepped forward immediately. "Miss Evans, welcome to the Bennett residence. Please, This way." Clara followed, trying to steady her breathing. The halls inside were adorned with fine artwork and gleaming chandeliers that cast a warm, golden glow. She couldn't help but marvel at the opulence around her. Victoria greeted her in the grand living room, a smile that was both warm and commanding. "Clara, I'm glad you came. Jonathan is eager to meet you." Clara's stomach fluttered at the mention of Jonathan. I hope I don't make a bad impression." Victoria chuckled lightly. "Just be yourself. That is exactly what makes you interesting and rare." Moments later, the doors opened, and a young man stepped in. Jonathan Bennett was tall, with sharp features softened by a kind smile. His dark hair fell just above his eyes, and there was an air of confidence about him that didn't intimidate, it intrigued. "Clara Evans, I presume?" Jonathan said, extending his hand. His voice was calm, yet carried a subtle warmth. Clara took his hand, slightly trembling. "Yes, Jonathan. It's a pleasure to meet you." "The pleasure is mine," he replied, his eyes locking with hers for a brief, electric moment. Victoria stepped aside, leaving them alone for the first time. "Dinner will be served shortly. Enjoy your conversation," she said, smiling knowingly. Jonathan gestured toward the large windows overlooking the estate's gardens. "Shall we walk?" Clara nodded, her curiosity overtaking her nerves. They strolled slowly along the stone pathways, the moonlight reflecting off the fountains. Silence lingered at first, comfortable but tinged with anticipation. "So, you saved my mother today," Jonathan said finally, his tone light but appreciative. "I've heard bits of the story. Quite courageous of you." Clara shrugged modestly. "I couldn't just watch her get hurt. It felt right." Jonathan's eyes softened. "I admire that. Most people would have looked the other way. You have a rare sense of integrity, Clara." Clara felt her cheeks warm. "Thank you. That means a lot, coming from you." For a moment, they walked in companionable silence, the soft rustle of leaves the only sound. Then Jonathan glanced at her, a playful smile tugging at his lips. "You know, I was expecting a formal, perhaps awkward meeting tonight. Instead, I'm talking to a girl who doesn't seem impressed by wealth or status. That's refreshing." Clara laughed softly. "I'm not exactly used to fancy estates or million-dollar expectations. It's a little overwhelming, to be honest." Jonathan smiled warmly. "Then let's just forget all that for a while. Just you and me walking and talking. No expectations, no titles, no pressure." Clara felt a strange flutter in her chest. Despite the grandeur, the pressure, and the unusual circumstances, being with Jonathan felt easy, natural, and strangely comforting. As they returned to the mansion, the faint scent of flowers and the cool night air wrapping around them, Clara realized that helping Margaret had done more than save a life. It had introduced her to a world she had never imagined, and to a man who might just change her life forever. The dining room at the Bennett estate was a vision of elegance. Polished mahogany table, crystal chandeliers casting soft light, and fine china meticulously arranged. Clara felt a mixture of awe and intimidation as she followed Victoria to her seat. Every detail screamed wealth, refinement, and tradition. "You'll find our family dinners are formal, but we try to make them welcoming," Victoria said smoothly, taking her place at the head of the table. "Jonathan, please, introduce Clara to the family." Jonathan turned toward her, offering a reassuring smile. "Everyone, this is Clara Evans. She's been an unexpected hero today, brave, kind, and absolutely fearless." Clara's cheeks flushed, unsure whether to laugh or hide behind her hands. The family members nodded politely, their eyes sharp but curious. The dinner began, small talk floating over courses of delicately prepared food. Clara was careful with her manners, trying to navigate the formalities without losing herself in the process. Jonathan, on the other hand, seemed effortlessly at ease, occasionally glancing at her with a playful sparkle in his eyes. "So, Clara," Jonathan began, leaning slightly toward her, "do you often find yourself rescuing people in alleys, or was today a one-time heroic effort?" Clara laughed softly, the tension easing. "I wish it were just a one-time thing. But sometimes, you just know when you have to step in. It feels right." Jonathan's smile deepened. "I like that about you. You don't think about the consequences. You act from the heart. That's rare. Clara felt warmth spreading through her chest, a feeling she hadn't expected in a room so full of strangers and grandeur. But as the conversation flowed, subtle reminders of their worlds apart began to appear. Jonathan's younger brother, Alexander, leaned back in his chair with a hint of skepticism. "So, Clara," he said, voice casual but pointed, "you just happened to save our mother today? Sounds convenient. What exactly are your intentions?" Clara's pulse quickened. I wasn't thinking about intentions. I only wanted to help." Alexander raised an eyebrow, unconvinced. "Interesting. The Bennett family has a history of careful matchmaking. I hope your courage extends to handling that side of things too." Jonathan's jaw tightened slightly, though he gave Alexander a measured glance. "Clara is her own person. I trust her, and that should be enough." Clara looked at Jonathan, gratitude and admiration flooding her. Despite the subtle tension, he was defending her, showing trust in her even when the rest of the family remained skeptical. After dinner, the family retired to the lounge. Jonathan offered Clara a tour of the estate's library, a quiet place filled with shelves of books that smelled of old paper and polished wood. "This was my favorite spot as a kid," Jonathan said, leading her to a window alcove. "I could spend hours reading here, imagining worlds far beyond this town or this mansion." Clara smiled, feeling a connection growing between them. "It's beautiful and peaceful. I can see why you love it." They stood close, the space between them charged with unspoken emotions. Jonathan hesitated, then spoke softly. "Clara, I know this is sudden, and I know our worlds are different, but being with you, it feels right. I can't explain it, but I want to see where this goes." Clara's breath caught. I feel the same, Jonathan. It's all so new, and a little scary, but I want to try too." For a moment, the world outside, the wealth, the expectations, the skeptical family, faded away. In that quiet library, amid the scent of old books and the glow of the lamplight, two hearts acknowledged a connection that neither distance, nor status, nor circumstance could easily diminish. The following morning, Clara awoke in her modest apartment, the sunlight streaming through the window reminding her of the stark contrast between her world and Jonathan's. Her mind replayed last night, the dinner, the laughter, the subtle tension from his family. Every memory brought a mixture of excitement and apprehension. Just as she was gathering her thoughts, her phone buzzed. It was a message from Victoria Bennett. "Jonathan is eager to see you again today. Don't be late." Victoria. Clara felt her pulse quicken. She had barely begun to understand the Bennett family dynamics, yet already she was swept into their world. Swallowing her nervousness, she dressed carefully and arrived at the estate in the early afternoon. Jonathan was waiting in the garden, his posture relaxed but eyes lighting up when he saw her. "Clara, you made it." "I wouldn't miss it," she replied with a shy smile. Victoria appeared shortly after, radiant and composed. "Good afternoon, Clara. Jonathan suggested a private tour of our company headquarters. I think it will give you a better sense of his world and your future, should you accept it." Clara's stomach tightened. "Tour headquarters?" she asked cautiously. Victoria smiled, enigmatic. "Yes. Jonathan's work is a large part of his life. It's time you understand it too. Consider it part of getting to know the family." As they arrived at the towering glass and steel building downtown, Clara couldn't help but feel small amid the bustling employees, gleaming offices, and state-of-the-art technology. She had never imagined being in a place like this, let alone walking alongside the heir to it all. Jonathan noticed her apprehension. "Don't worry, Clara. You don't have to understand everything right away. Just see it through my eyes." They walked through sleek hallways filled with awards, photos, and busy staff members. It was impressive, yes, but it also highlighted how different their lives were. Clara's modest upbringing and small-town simplicity felt worlds apart from this high-powered empire. Suddenly, Victoria's voice broke through the tour. "Jonathan, a word, please." Jonathan and Victoria stepped aside, leaving Clara alone near a floor-to-ceiling window overlooking the city. She gazed at the streets below, feeling both awe and fear. Could she really fit into this world? Could she truly be part of Jonathan's life without losing herself? Jonathan returned a few minutes later, his expression serious. "Clara, I know this is overwhelming, but I want to be honest, there are expectations. My family, they have plans for me, plans that include you. I don't want that to pressure you, but it's reality." Clara's breath caught. "Plans? Like marriage?" Jonathan nodded. "Yes, but I don't want it to be forced. I care about you, Clara. Not the idea of you as someone else's match, but you, yourself. That's the only reason I want to see this through, with you, willingly." Clara's heart pounded. His honesty, his concern, and his unwavering sincerity stirred something deep inside her. She wanted to trust him, but the weight of wealth, influence, and family expectations made her hesitate. Before she could respond, Victoria returned, holding a file. "Clara, I want you to understand that the Bennett family takes relationships seriously. Our son, Jonathan, is not a man who chooses lightly. If you accept this path, it's a commitment for both your sake and his. Do you understand?" Clara nodded slowly, feeling a swirl of emotions. She had saved Margaret, stepped into the Bennett world, and now faced a choice: retreat to her simple life or embrace the uncertainty, the power, and the love that awaited her. Jonathan took her hand gently. "Clara, whatever you decide, I'll support you. But I hope you'll choose to face this with me." As the city lights began to flicker on outside, Clara felt a resolve forming within her. Challenges awaited, secrets lingered, and expectations loomed large. But for the first time, she realized that bravery didn't just mean saving others, it also meant daring to follow her heart, no matter the obstacles. The sun dipped low over Willow Creek, casting a warm golden glow over the Bennett Estate gardens. Clara wandered along the rose-lined paths, her mind still spinning from the morning's conversation with Victoria and Jonathan. The reality of the Bennett world was sinking in, and with it, the subtle weight of expectations and scrutiny. Jonathan appeared beside her, hands tucked casually into his pockets, his eyes lighting up when he saw her. "Hey," he said softly, "you've been quiet. Thinking too much." Clara chuckled nervously. "Just trying to process everything. Your world, it's so different from mine. I feel out of place." Jonathan shook his head, smiling. "You belong more than you think. It's not about wealth or titles, it's about who you are. You've got a courage and heart I've rarely seen, and I admire that." Clara felt a warmth spread across her chest, her heart fluttering at his words. "You really mean that?" "Completely," he said, stepping a little closer. "And I want you to see that, not just hear it." Their hands brushed briefly, sending a subtle spark through Clara. She glanced away, pretending to admire the roses, but Jonathan noticed the slight blush creeping up her cheeks. They continued walking, and soon laughter replaced their nervousness. Jonathan told stories from his childhood, silly, unguarded moments that no one at the office would ever hear. Clara found herself laughing freely, the tension easing. She realized that beyond the wealth, the mansion, and the expectations, Jonathan was just a person. A kind, attentive, and unexpectedly relatable man. But the moment was fragile. A rustle in the bushes revealed Victoria, watching them silently, a small smile playing on her lips. She stepped forward, breaking the intimacy of the scene. "Ah, there you are," Victoria said lightly. "Enjoying each other's company, I see. But remember, young lady, in our family, courtship comes with guidance." Clara's cheeks flushed. I understand, ma'am." Jonathan sighed softly, though he didn't let go of her hand completely. "Don't let her intimidate you," he whispered, leaning close so only she could hear. "This is just how she shows concern." Clara nodded, a mixture of relief and amusement on her face. "You make it sound easy." Jonathan smiled, his thumb brushing against hers in a subtle, comforting gesture. "That's because it should feel natural. You and we're starting something real. That's all that matters." The sun set behind them, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. They stopped at a small fountain, the water sparkling under the fading light. Jonathan turned to face Clara fully, his expression tender. "Clara, I know this is fast, and there's a lot you're facing," he said quietly. "But I want you to know, this spark between us, it's real, and I don't want to ignore it." Clara met his gaze, feeling her own courage swell. I feel it too, Jonathan. I've tried to fight it, but it's impossible. I don't want to ignore it either. For a moment, the world around them, expectations, family, wealth, disappeared. All that remained was the connection between their hearts, fragile yet undeniable. Victoria cleared her throat lightly from behind, reminding them of the world they inhabited. But Clara and Jonathan, hands intertwined, shared a quiet understanding. This was only the beginning of something neither could have anticipated, a spark that might just grow into a fire strong enough to overcome any obstacle. The following morning, Clara arrived at the Bennet estate, her stomach fluttering with nervous anticipation. Today was the day Jonathan had promised to introduce her more formally to the family's inner circle, a step deeper into a world she had only glimpsed. Victoria greeted her warmly at the door, though her sharp eyes held an intensity that made Clara uneasy. "Good morning, Clara. Today, you will meet some of our closest associates and board members. Consider this an introduction to the broader Bennet world." Clara nodded, trying to steady her nerves. "I'll do my best." Jonathan appeared behind Victoria, offering her a reassuring smile. "Don't worry. Just be yourself. That's all anyone needs to see." As they entered the grand conference room, Clara's eyes widened at the sight of executives in tailored suits and professional elegance. Some greeted her politely, others with barely concealed skepticism. She felt the weight of judgment pressing in, a stark reminder that she was an outsider in this meticulously controlled world. Victoria began the introductions. "Clara Evans has been instrumental in caring for my mother today. Beyond that, she possesses qualities we value deeply: integrity, courage, and heart." One of the executives, a stern man named Richard Lowell, raised an eyebrow. "And yet, she is not from our world. How can we be certain she understands the responsibilities that come with associating with the Bennet family?" Jonathan stepped forward, his voice calm but authoritative. "I understand your concerns, Richard. But Clara has proven herself brave, capable, and trustworthy. Sometimes, qualities like character outweigh pedigree." Clara felt her cheeks warm under the attention, but she also felt a surge of pride at Jonathan's defense. She had always been an underdog, and here, in a room full of wealth and influence, her worth was being recognized for who she truly was. However, the tension was far from over. Later, during a private moment in the garden, Victoria approached Clara with a serious expression. "Clara, you need to understand something. Our family's world comes with expectations, rules, and a network that doesn't easily accept outsiders. Jonathan cares deeply for you, but there will be challenges, questions, whispers, and doubts." Clara swallowed hard. I'm ready to face it. I want to be with him, no matter what obstacles there are." Victoria's eyes softened slightly. "Good. But there's another matter. Our family has certain secrets, past arrangements that may come to light. You need to be prepared for them, not just for your sake, but for Jonathan's as well." Clara nodded, determination setting in. "I understand. I'm not afraid to fight for this." Meanwhile, Jonathan had been grappling with his own pressures. His family expected him to follow certain paths, maintain the Bennet legacy, and consider alliances that were strategic rather than personal. Yet, with Clara, he saw authenticity and courage, qualities he couldn't ignore. That evening, as they walked through the estate's gardens under the glow of lanterns, Jonathan took Clara's hand. "I know it's difficult. The world I come from, it's complicated. But I want you to know that whatever comes, we face it together." Clara squeezed his hand firmly. "I believe in us, Jonathan. I know we can handle whatever comes, as long as we trust each other." Their eyes met, and in that gaze, both found reassurance. The world of wealth, expectations, and family politics was daunting, but together they discovered strength, courage, and an unspoken promise to fight for love, despite the odds. As the night deepened, the soft hum of the estate surrounded them, a reminder that love was rarely simple, but always worth the struggle. And for Clara and Jonathan, the battle had only just begun. The Bennet estate was alive with energy that morning, filled with the hum of staff preparing for a formal family gathering. Today was a celebration, not just for the family's ongoing successes, but also to formally welcome Clara into their world. Clara adjusted her dress nervously in front of the full-length mirror, her heart racing. She had faced doubts, skepticism, and secrets in the past days, But now, the final step awaited. Today, she hoped, would prove that courage, integrity, and love could overcome even the highest walls. Jonathan appeared at her side, offering his trademark warm smile. "You look beautiful," he said, gently taking her hand. "And remember, you belong here as much as anyone else." Clara smiled, feeling a surge of confidence. "I'll do my best." The gathering began in the grand hall. Family members, board members, and close associates were all present. Victoria stepped forward to address the crowd. "Today," she began, her voice calm and commanding, "we welcome Clara Evans, not only as a hero to my mother but as someone whose courage, heart, and integrity have proven her worthy of our family's trust and admiration." Clara's cheeks flushed, and she looked to Jonathan. He squeezed her hand reassuringly. Richard Lowell, who had been skeptical in previous meetings, stepped forward. "I must admit I had my doubts," he said. "But Clara's strength and character are undeniable. She's proven herself more than capable of handling the responsibilities and expectations that come with being part of the Bennett Circle." The room filled with murmurs of approval, nods, and smiles. For the first time, Clara felt completely accepted, not for her background, but for who she truly was. Jonathan took a step closer to her. "Clara, you faced challenges, scrutiny, and secrets with grace. I want everyone here to know, this is my choice. My heart has already chosen." Tears welled in Clara's eyes. "Jonathan, I never imagined this life, this world, could be part of my story. But with you, it feels right. It feels like home." Jonathan pulled her gently into an embrace, their connection undeniable. Around them, the Bennett family watched, some with smiles of approval, others with quiet admiration. Even Victoria's gaze softened, a rare display of maternal pride. "Clara," Jonathan whispered, "will you walk this journey with me? Not because of titles or expectations, but because of us." Clara nodded, a radiant smile lighting up her face. "Yes, Jonathan. Every step of the way." The crowd erupted in applause, celebrating not only their union but the triumph of love, courage, and authenticity over skepticism and social barriers. As the sun set over Willow Creek, Clara and Jonathan stood together on the estate balcony, hand in hand. The city lights sparkled below, reflecting a world of endless possibilities. The path ahead would have challenges, but now, fortified by trust, love, and mutual respect, they were ready to face them together. Clara glanced up at Jonathan, her heart full. "Thank you for believing in me." Jonathan smiled, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "Thank you for showing me what true courage and love look like." In that moment, surrounded by acceptance, hope, and a newfound sense of belonging, Clara realized that saving Margaret had changed more than one life. It had set into motion a journey of love, family, and happiness that would last a lifetime. The girl who had simply acted out of kindness had not only won the heart of a CEO, but had also found a home, a family, and a love that would endure forever. Thank you for listening to this story. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. Until we meet again in the next story, take care and keep the magic of imagination alive.